Hey there and welcome. My name is Carlos Berlis, and in this video we are going to talk about moral ambiguity and quandaries. And why quandaries and not conundrum? Because usually the definition for conundrum is something that has a correct answer. It's like a riddle. It's something difficult to get an answer, but there is a right answer. While quandaries just mentions that you have a difficulty, you are in a difficult spot to make a decision. So they can not have a correct answer. And this is what we are aiming for right now. And why? Because we want to pose questions to high indentation in the games. Another thing that is important to be clear right from the start is that for me, people or creatures that are aware of themselves, they are not inherently good, bad, lawful, chaotic, or anything, except for creatures that are the personification or some of this stuff, like devils, demons, angels, and so on. These creatures, although they are the personification of these alignments in some way, or these forces, they still can be subverted. We have common tropes of fallen angels, so we can have tropes of exalted demons or devils, and you should make use of that as well. But this is not the main topic on this video. The topic of this video is the moral ambiguity. And so most people or everyone is shades of gray. They are not inherently good or inherently bad. And we are going to try and question their moralities, the morality of the characters, to try to make them think twice about the choices that they are going to make. This kind of play usually can be described as the opposite or opposing the hack and slash system. Hack and slash, for the ones that are not aware of the term, it's very popular. It's you just go inside whatever is the next room and kill everything, loot, go to the next one, rinse and repeat. This is not wrong. There is nothing that is inherently wrong to play like that. I'm just offering another way of playing the game. Because we all know that the most popular game, Dungeons and Dragons, is basically a battle simulator, a fight simulator, because most of the rules are for fighting, are for combat. We are trying to have some different approaches and what we can play inside the game. What we are also offering are questions that should, or tools that should not be used every single decision, or they, in other words, you should not overdo it, because this will lead to distrust from the players. It will lead to analysis paralysis, because every time, if you subvert the expectations in every corner, the players won't want to make any decision, because they will always be facing daring consequences. And another thing that is very important is that you should discuss that in session 0. As I mentioned before in the video, you should discuss that, and everyone should be in the same page. Everyone should be aware that these kind of questions, these kind of situations could be approached. Also, it's important. You are the DM. You are the one posing these difficult questions, these difficult situations. But you are also a player. You are also a person in the table. So when we talk about consent, like I mentioned in the previous video, that you can withdraw your consent anytime, anyone in the table can do it. You also, as a DM, have to consent with what is being played. Because sometimes you will pose a difficult question. Like, you have your players in a dungeon and they find some baby goblins. They will decide what to do. Will they leave them there? All the adult goblins are already there, so they leaving them there, they can die. Or some characters will even slay each one of them. And sometimes you are not comfortable with that. You do not want that. So you have to consent as well to what is being played, what is happening in the table. Be aware of that. So when we are posing questions, they are usually to try and subvert the regular idea of morality. Usually these questions won't have an answer that is a correct one. There will not be a soul path that is considered the good path. Like which one will you choose to save? You have to save two. They are hundreds of miles apart. You are in the middle, and you have to choose one of the two. This is a difficult question. You do not have one correct answer. Also, how do you treat killing animals? You are being attacked. Is it correct or not for your character to kill the animal, or how you will do it? Usually these questions, this moral ambiguity, comes more for good players, good characters, or characters that try to be the classic heroic type. Like, should they torture to get some information to save a whole village or a whole kingdom? They are lawful good as in the classic one, and they are locked by the authorities. Will they break free from the authorities because they are the law? They are breaking the law if they get out. These kind of ideas to respect order, and these will pose questions, sometimes not just for your characters, but also for the players themselves, because they will be questioned about some moralities as well. And that's why it is important to be aware that you can withdraw your consent at any time. But with the quandaries, you can also pose some questions to bad aligned characters. Like, to get something, they need to ask politely. They need to be something good. They need to do something good. Although they are doing it for motivations to be good for themselves, they still will be breaking their morality to get to the bigger goal. Is this enough to change their way of seeing stuff or not? This is something that each one will need to answer individually. So we are questioning also what is good and what is possible of redemption, and how this redemption can be achieved. So if you also have that kind of players that doesn't matter the kind of difficult moral question that you put, they won't question themselves. If everyone is okay with that from the session 0 onward, you can attack their character shit. What I mean by that, not just draining their hit points, but draining what is important to their characters, like equipment, like stats, like flaws, bonds, ideals. Every character has some stuff that are important for them, and you will pose some questions when they will need to trade off what is this stuff that are important to your character, and many of the times for the player, because the player gets attached to the character as well, in order to get a bigger goal perhaps. Or sometimes it's just a smaller goal. Like, you have to choose whether the family of your characters or the place where they grew up will be destroyed in order to save another village. Will they be able to do the choice? Both villages are the same type or are the same size. So there is no bigger goal. So how they will decide that? These are the kind of questions that I think that are important, and they get more tension and everyone more inclined and more excited to try and play the game. But do not overdo. As I mentioned, do not make every question, every decision to be like that. So I hope that you liked the video. This one was a little bit longer. If you like the video, like the damn video, share, subscribe. You know how internet works. Comment, because comments are also important. I try to interact with each one of them. Let me know if you already use that in your games. If not, if you are planning to do it, if you have any questions, let me know and we'll try to answer them as soon as possible. So we see ya in the next video and see ya! Also, today is Brazilian Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day, Dai, and Feliz Dia dos Namorados. Tchau!